Hi, everybody. So I hope that you are doing well. And this is going to be a quick live stream. I don't think it's going to take super long, but I'm just about to go on a weekend little trip to Cedar City for Utah Shakespeare Festival. And I really wanted to update everybody on everything that I've been seeing, kind of just to start fresh with that trip and not have especially theater that I'd seen and not updated. So that's the story. Also, I am just going to be making a call in to the movie show. So I'm not going to have those reviews that I've been doing this week, like I've been having. And I really appreciate the support of me on the movie show and also, the content from the movie show that I posted on my channel. I really appreciate, the sort of trying something new, those reviews, and I appreciate you checking them out. And I haven't really seen anybody post audio reviews kind of like what I've been doing. Like I said, trying something new. And this whole experience on the movie show has been a dream come true, has been incredible. And I'm excited for at least a couple more weeks. We don't know how long it's going to be, but I'm going to enjoy it as long as I possibly can. And so I really appreciate any support that you all have given me on the movie show social media, particularly their Facebook page, and also just personally the support that I've gotten and friendship and everything. And I should say for this live stream, I'm going to have the chat room open. So if you want to do a super chat, that's available. And I would sure appreciate it so much. And also, if you have comments, questions that you want to share, I would certainly love to have those in the chat room. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's talk about what I've been watching as far as films that since my last live stream. So my last live stream was just before I saw Fantastic Four as far as in the theaters, but I did see a couple things before that I don't think I updated last time. So I saw the first of the Providence Falls. This was on Hallmark Channel, and this is a three-part movie series that's very clever. Like I said, I've just seen the first movie, and it's a real. I think if you don't think you like Hallmark, you might like this. I really enjoyed this first movie. The idea is that it's kind of similar to Drop Dead Diva. Uh, this man gets basically an opportunity to go back and to help his true love, but it's actually the reincarnated version of his love because so much time has passed. Anyway, it's very creative, and so you get to see like kind of the memories of what happened. Why did he get taken unexpectedly? But then also, what's he going to do about it, and how he's going to be this detective and working with his love, but he can't touch her. Every time he touches her, he gets shocked, and that's the way of the angels of like preventing him from doing something that would be that would alter her fate. Just very clever. I love that idea, and I love this cast, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And for them to do a three-part movie series is pretty clever. And so you should check out Providence Falls on Hallmark Channel, on Hallmark Plus, wherever you can find it. I thought it was this first one I thought was really good. So yay. I finally saw Zombies 4. It took me a bit to see it. I even posted a couple shorts of it on here, which because I thought it was so silly. This franchise has just gotten out of control. But the problem is that it thinks it's so like important and profound and like speaking about how we should treat everybody, and it's gonna, this is gonna change the world. I still think the songs are pretty catchy, and I think that Milo Manheim and Meg Donnelly are more talented than this franchise deserves. They're very good. And they keep coming around. Of course, we added vampires to this installment of the Zombies 4. You definitely miss Kenny Ortega in these later movies. It's the same way with the Last Descendants movie. You missed his choreography. And by the way, Kenny Ortega posted a thing on Instagram I think it was today, about a Lego live action Lego movie. I'm like, what on earth is that? I mean, how do you have a live action Lego movie? What does it even mean? I'm so confused. Um, he said that it's the Heart Lake, it's Heart Lake the musical, live action Lego. So do you have them with like, like, do they look like Legos, but they're humans? I don't understand what live action Lego means, but evidently he's making a movie called Heart Lake the musical. So that was bizarre. I don't know. If any of you have any insight to what the heck does that mean, Heart Lake, then let me know. But I think Zombies 4 is extremely silly. The dialogue is very, very clunky. But if you're kind of into something that knows it's silly, I mean, it takes itself too seriously. So I don't know if it does know it's silly. But anyway, you can kind of laugh at it, but it's not the best. Okay, so then Win or Lose, I finally saw this. This is the little mini series that Pixar did. And I actually didn't watch it all. I started it. And I thought it was like really cute. I thought it was charming. It's so crazy because like 5 years ago, maybe even, like, this would have been a huge deal. Like, everybody would be talking about it. Everybody would be excited about it. For Pixar to do their first original series, and it just came and went, and nobody talked about it. I mean, you wouldn't even hardly know that this even came out at all. So that's crazy. But I actually thought it was pretty cute. So yeah, cute characters, nice, like it's for younger kids. So, but if you have people who like the Cars movies or even the first Monsters Incorporated, for really like little kids, then this is cute. It's kind of pre-K. It feels pre-K. But it just shows how far the brand has become diluted, that they could put out an original series this year and it gets completely forgotten, which is crazy. So then I saw Fantastic Four First Steps, and I, posted my review, my reaction. I enjoyed it. I particularly thought Sue's arc was quite strong, and her strength as a mother, and how she is kind of forced to acknowledge her son, and that people might not like her being a mother. I thought that was kind of an interesting uh, plot for her to have to sort of take on and then fight for her son. Was, like, I thought, pretty compelling and moving, and I would say she is one of the stronger female characters that we've seen in a comic book movie ever. I thought she was really like strong and confident, and Vanessa Kirby was quite good playing her. It did get a little slow at points, but I liked all of the leads. I thought they were strong and had nice chemistry together. It felt like a family dynamic going on, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed all of the world building that they did. I liked the fact that you didn't need a MCU almanac to figure out what was happening or who the characters were. It was pretty standalone for Marvel. So I enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect. It was a little slow at points. And the action wasn't that exciting, but I liked the family, which I think is the most important part of a Fantastic Four movie. So for me, I definitely would prefer Superman. That was more, it had those rom-com vibes, and it was just more sort of emotional. They created a character that I was really rooting for, an underdog. But I think that it's still a solid entry from Marvel with this Fantastic Four. So there we go. Okay, so then we have Happy Gilmore 2. So this movie, I think that it depends on what you're comparing it to. Do I think this is like an amazing comedy? No. Do I think it's as good as the first one? No. Do I think it's better than most of the Adam Sandler Netflix comedies? Yes. I think it has more laughs, more moments that were amusing and sweet and enjoyable. Got those family feels, even Sandler's own kids involved. His wife makes a cameo. So like all of that, and the nostalgia. Do I think this is better than most of the other Netflix Adam Sandler comedies? Yes. I do. And so I think that most people that sit down to watch it are going to get what they want out of it, because I do think it's better than most of the other stuff that we've gotten, which you could say that's damning by faint praise. And I'm definitely grading on a curve. It's true. But I guess I had low expectations and I was moderately entertained. This is not a great movie, but I also thought it was like passably entertaining. It made me laugh enough, and it was had like enough sweet moments that it was watchable. But anybody who doesn't like this movie is completely valid. And the fact that people gave my friend Sean Chandler grief and told him he should start drinking again makes me absolutely furious. I cannot believe that anybody would say that to somebody in recovery. And like the fact that a person couldn't have empathy for somebody that's in recovery, and literally the major joke of the movie is him drinking every point he has, like in a cucumber, in a fruit, like everywhere. And if you can't have empathy for another human being, like that's just so sad. It's so sad. And I really appreciated that Cody Leach in his review, he talked about how people are just like, oh, you should just brush it off, you should just ignore it, it's just the internet. No, I don't think that you should. I think that we should use the little reach that we might have to say that sucks and that is horrible behavior. And I don't know. I get it that maybe giving it attention validates it, but like at a certain point, you have to say like that is wrong, and somebody should be allowed to not like Happy Gilmore 2 if they don't like it. So I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. Let's see. I haven't seen any of his Netflix films just because my family growing up didn't subscribe to the streaming service, so I missed out on a lot of those. I miss his theatrical films. Yeah, that's totally fair. Yeah. I mean, I guess at the very least, the non-Happy Madison films, like he has this new one coming out. I forget what it's called, but he has a new one. The people are saying there's going to be lots of Oscar buzz and stuff like that on this new film of his this fall. That those ones are actually, I think, legitimately good movies. But the ones he makes for Happy Madison that are for Netflix are just abysmal, and this is watchable. So there you go. What am I going to say? But it was kind of fun. So I had posted my review, and then I get an email saying, hey, we are this sports radio channel in Australia, and we'd love to have you on the show. This was literally, I got the email at 11:15, and then at they wanted it like 11:30 at night, and luckily I'm a night owl and I happened to get the email right then, so I was like, sure, hey, I'll come on. And so that was pretty fun. I posted it on the channel, so if you haven't listened to that, it's fun. Is my and of course I was like, I know literally nothing about golf, like I so, but that was my debut on Australian radio for Happy Gilmore 2.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind the scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Okay. Yeah. So the movie Jay Kelly. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So very cool. Okay. Let's keep going. Then we have the Naked Gun. So I actually got into the screening a little bit late. I was about 5 minutes late. And I even thought, like, should I even bother? Because I had gone to visit a friend in the hospital and I ended up just taking longer than I thought to get back. And I was about 5 minutes late. And I'm like, this could be because most of these kind of movies are terrible. And just had seen this Happy Gilmore 2, and had kind of, even though I didn't mind it, I had a bit of a bad taste in my mouth, everything that happened with Sean. So I'm like, oh, do I really want to go through this again? But I was like, you know what, I'm going to go. And so I went, and I'm so glad I did, because I laughed from beginning to end. I mean, almost every joke worked for me. I was literally like, I felt like I was just going to lose it at every minute. I mean, I get it if it doesn't work for you, like, it goes for it, and it's just so silly because it's not like a movie that's you can win you over by the plot. It's incredibly silly, but I laughed at almost every joke. In fact, I was laughing so hard, I missed jokes, and I want to see it again to catch all the jokes I didn't even catch the first time. So it was a huge surprise to me. And if you talk about, like, does the movie succeed in being what it's trying to be? This absolutely did. I was laughing my butt off. And it was the only thing that I think could hurt it, aside from the fact that people are used, like with Happy Gilmore 2, people are used to watching these movies at home, which is sad, but it's true. That could be part of it. But also the fact that a lot of the things that it's parodying are movies that aren't really made that much anymore. So I don't know if younger people will really laugh as much as I was laughing, because those film noir detective stories, those things, a lot of that kind of stuff isn't really made that much anymore. So I don't know if some of the jokes will be a little bit lost on young people, but I laughed a lot. I thought it was really funny, and Liam Neeson was hilarious. Pamela Anderson was hilarious. And so, yeah, there's a whole Hallmark joke that was so funny. And I've seen tons of bad Hallmark parodies, but this was really good. And then there was a Sex in the City joke that really made me laugh. And I mean, almost every joke made me laugh. Like, really, I can't overstate that. Like, it just worked. I thought it was so funny. And what a pleasant surprise. What a pleasant surprise that was. Okay, so then we have She Rides Shotgun. What a contrast. Like, they couldn't be more different. And She Rides Shotgun. This is a gritty, kind of modern Western. Taron Egerton, he plays this ex-con who is on the run with his 11-year-old daughter. And there's the sheriff who's hunting them down. And it's kind of a cat and mouse kind of chase sort of thing. It's gritty, it's bloody. It's the girl is excellent. I think this is a good movie. It's worth your time. It is not going to be for everybody because it is pretty brutal. But they do a good job with Taron Egerton's character of keeping you sort of guessing about his character. Like we think because he is the dad that he is a good person, but then there's moments where you're like, oh, I don't know if he's a good person. And the same thing with the sheriff. I think that both of them sort of morally ambivalent characters. And so that keeps you kind of guessing as the story goes of what's going to happen. And it's very well filmed, very well made. I think this is a solid little movie that you should check out. Let's see here. I think some jokes went over my head. I was hoping to laugh a lot since I like Liam. Your reasonings is probably why. I mean, the Buffy joke confused me too. Yeah, see, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And I wondered about that while I was watching it. But I think that maybe I'm like the perfect age for like 90% of the jokes. Like that it's like made for older millennials, especially like you said, the Buffy joke, Sex in the City, stuff like that that would be particularly my age. So anyway. Okay, so then we have Together. This is a horror movie, and because I've been doing the movie show, I've been seeing more horror, which has been kind of fun. And I like getting out of my comfort zone. I like trying new things, and I'm gonna be on the show at least, I think, at least through August. I think into September. I'll keep you posted. But again, any support you can give me on their Facebook page, any support just in general to that, I really appreciate it, because this is like a dream come true for me to be on KSL Movie Show. And if you listen on Fridays, then I think you'll really enjoy it, and it's just so exciting. So then we have Together. So anyway, so this is like a body horror. This couple, they go out to the woods and they're in this like secluded house. And they have they're not bonding, they're not getting along, and he's kind of moving for her. She's gotten this job, so there's like a little bit of resentment there. They're just not connecting. Well, all of a sudden, through various contrivances, they end up literally being physically like magnets drawn to each other. And so I thought it was pretty good. It's definitely makes you squirm. Like if you like kind of squirming, you're like, oh, then you'll enjoy Together. It's of course it's ridiculous, and it's not like scary because it's so absurd. Like to me, like the movies that are scary are the ones that like I can imagine this happening to me. That's scary to me. But if it's like a fantasy, if it's fake, if I can sort of separate my own experience from what I'm seeing, then it's not really that scary to me. Like I think, for instance, in I Know What You Did Last Summer. So I watched the old one, the original, and that whole scene when Sarah Michelle Gellar's character is getting chased. There's this line, Helen, I think is her name. Helen is getting chased and she's constantly kind of looking back. And there's this long segment where there's constantly a fear of somebody following her and what's happening. And I think that is much scarier to me than anything in Together, because that feels real. Like someone could potentially be chasing me, like someone could be following me. Like that's scary to me. Whereas I think something like this isn't scary. It's gross and it's kind of fun, but it's not scary, in my opinion. So I don't know how other people feel. So yeah, no, we're doing it now. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay. So Together, and of course they like have interesting chemistry because they are a couple, Dave Franco and Alison Brie, but because they're playing a couple that doesn't have chemistry and then they're drawn to each other, it's sort of an interesting dynamic given that they are a real life couple. So I think it's worth a watch. It's a weird little movie, worth a watch. Okay, then we have an animated film called Ola Frida, and this is about Frida Kahlo. And I think that it feels like the kind of movie that you'd watch at school. Like it's cute. kind of a child's perspective of Frida and her little girl as a little girl, and her imagination and her family, and of course doesn't get into like the darker parts of Frida that would be as an adult, and her unusual marriage and other things like that. But it's beautiful, and it does feel kind of like something you might watch on PBS or something like that, or at school. But I liked it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. So if you want to learn a little bit about Frida, and you have kids, then it's cute. Okay, so then we have War of the Worlds. This is this Amazon Screen Life movie, which they made in 2020, and it feels like it almost gives you PTSD because it's like all that 2020 nonsense. It brings it right back. Everybody's staring at screens and not going outside and everything, and there might have been an idea here. We've had some of these Screen Life movies, Unfriended, For Searching, kind of that have been pretty good. But this is just absolutely ridiculous, especially all of the Amazon product placement is embarrassing. And you just feel kind of bad for all involved. You wonder, like, how long did they hang on to this? That maybe it should have just been shelved and not released, because it is kind of weird because it feels like this capsule of the pandemic and a reminder of the pandemic, but it tries to actually tell the story of War of the Worlds, and yet it just can't do it the way that it's trying to do it, and the way they have to sort of finagle to have people still live streaming and zooming and everything like that with these aliens right there. It's absurd. It's absurd. Don't watch it. It's really bad. Okay, so then I saw a little movie called Good to See You. This is a little 45-minute short done by a director friend of mine, Jonah Feingold. I really love what he is doing in the romantic comedy world, and he has made he's made a couple different rom-coms, Xmas, which I really liked, Dating in New York, and At Midnight. And so he made this little movie with just like him and his friends. It doesn't have fancy sound. It doesn't have fancy, like, it's just like him and his friends in Central Park. But he just made us like a gift to watch. You watch it on YouTube. And it's basically like he and this woman, they meet up in the park in Central Park, and they're trying to figure out how they knew each other. That they think they went on a date together. They think they know each other, but they can't remember. So they're trying to kind of put back the pieces of their relationship or friendship or how they know each other. Like I said, this is just like a little gift for a little 45-minute video, a movie on YouTube that you can watch, but it's very sweet and cute. And I just love Jonah. I think that what he's doing in the rom-com space is very exciting, and I'm going to be interviewing him for Hallmarkies podcast. I already have interviewed him before, but I'm going to be interviewing him again on Monday because I'm excited. He has a movie called 31 Candles that is coming out this fall, which I think is a bar mitzvah story. There's a love story that's centered around, I think, people throwing a bar mitzvah or for, I don't know, something involving bar mitzvahs and party planning or whatever. So anyway, I love Jonah, and I think you should check out this nice little short that he and his friends did. Okay, let's see here. I am loving the response to War of the Worlds. It's entertaining and also reassures me people still have taste. Yeah, it's unusually bad is War of the Worlds. And that the movie, Jonah's little movie, is called Good to See You. That's what it's called. And like I said, you can just watch it on YouTube. So, Okay, so then I saw My Mother's Wedding. This is a movie that was directed by Kristen Scott Thomas, the actress. This is her debut. And it's interesting because it has a lot of good parts in it. It's a great cast: Scarlett Johansson, Sienna Miller, and Kristen Scott Thomas, Frida Pinto. And it's about these three sisters. Their mother is getting remarried, and they're forced to kind of dig up all of those old grudges and old problems and their various relationships. And it just all feels really phony and really you're just not invested in what is happening. It feels, I said in my review, I said it feels like 7 movies all crammed together. And I think because it doesn't really focus on one character, that you're sort of following their story. It tries to tell like all of these stories, and there's parts that are really silly and kind of supposed to be madcap comedy, and then there's parts that are supposed to be really intense and emotional. So it just feels like a bunch of ideas all kind of meshed together. Also, it has these animated sections, which I really liked the animation. It's like a sketchy animation, but they were used so oddly and randomly that it also felt like this is another movie. Why didn't we just get this animated movie? I would have liked that better. So it just got a lot of ideas, and it doesn't come together, in my opinion. Okay, so then I saw It's Never Over, Jeff Buckley. This is a music documentary about the singer Jeff Buckley, and he only released, I guess, one album in his life called Grace, and he and which is very sad. He died in a drowning accident, and when he was 30, I believe. And so this kind of takes you through his life and the tragedy. The people who knew him, they got to see him perform. Of course, he has like an iconic Hallelujah song, which I was grateful they didn't play that many times, because that song is just overplayed. And so I was glad. There was really they only had it, I think, twice, not too much. But I'm not that much of a music person, unless it's a show tunes or a part of a movie. If it's not part of theater or film, then I probably don't know that much about it. I'm not that up to date. And so it's not really like necessarily for me, but I think this does like a good job of getting you to know Jeff Buckley and hear his story. And he was the son of a singer, what was it, Timothy Buckley, but they didn't have really a relationship. But he was sometimes asked to sing his songs, and there's this whole like concert that he gave around his father's funeral, things like that. So there's some dynamics there, but this is a standard little music or musician documentary, but it's like perfectly like I enjoyed it learning about.
These days, everybody's talking about weight loss meds, but fewer people are talking about how hard they are to access. That's because Hers is changing that with transparent pricing, expert care, and a personalized plan that's actually built and priced for where you're at. Weight loss by Hers is realistic and not restrictive. Hers provides access to affordable weight loss plans built around oral medication kits and GLP-1 injectable options, with the oral medication kit starting at just $69 per month with a 10-month plan when paid upfront. This isn't cookie cutter care that forgets you in the waiting room. It's your health and goals put first, with real medical providers making sure you get what you need to get results. Whether you want to lose weight, grow thicker, fuller hair, or find relief for anxiety, Hers has you covered. Visit forhers.com/hallmarkies to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers.com/hallmarkies. forhers.com/hallmarkies.
So yeah, is that one album the one with Hallelujah? I believe so. Again, I don't really know that much about him, but I think it's called Grace is the album. And they might have said, I'm pretty sure that And of course, it was on Shrek. It was on so many different things. See here. I saw the trailer for my mother's wedding when I saw Materialist in June. I was interested, but didn't realize that it had come out yet. Oops. I think it comes out this week. So I had to watch it for the movie show. So, okay. Then I saw Sketch, and that came out this week. And this is a really cute, very interesting little indie movie for kids. It's a very effective little family film about a little girl who is always drawing her feelings. And her mother, she's lost her mother, and so she draws these kind of monsters that symbolize her grief and her loss and her frustration. Well, one day they find this magic pond, and the magic pond makes for these drawings of hers come alive. And I think the way that they visualized those drawings was very, very clever. And it looked like a kid's drawing, but it was like a creature. And on a nothing budget, how they were able to make these visual effects work was very impressive and creative. And it felt like this is a drawing of a little girl. And you think about the difference between this and like Harold and the Purple Crayon, which isn't even about a little Harold, like Harold's an old man. Like that movie was so boring and had no sort of, it didn't feel like there was no sense of wonder, childlike wonder, whereas there is with this. And it definitely dives into some pretty deep themes of grief and loss and how different people, especially children, cope with it, how they respond. And Tony Hale from Arrested Development, he is the dad in this, and it's a serious performance, serious role, but he's very good, I thought. And this is just a moving family film. It made me tear up by the end. It's creative, it's exciting, it's just a sweet little movie. So I would definitely recommend checking out Sketch. It's a good one. Let's see here. Random question. If you were to do a Jane Austen film, who would you cast? Which book would it be? And how would you make your adaptation stand out? So I would actually, I don't know about the casting. I have to think a little bit more about that. But I think it's kind of insane that we have only gotten one version of Northanger Abbey. I think there's like an 80s miniseries, but like in my lifetime, we've only gotten one major adaptation for BBC. We've never gotten a feature film. I don't think there has been a single feature film of Northanger Abbey. And we've only gotten like that one Felicity Jones adaptation. And so I think there is so much potential in Northanger Abbey. It's fun. It's got some scary points. It's got definitely some spots you could make sort of swoon-worthy and enjoyable. I think it could win over people that wouldn't normally like Austen is Northanger Abbey. And I just feel like all the other ones have been done a lot. And so I don't understand why Northanger Abbey is the one that we had seen almost nothing, hardly anything of Northanger Abbey. I mean, so anyway, I don't know who you'd get, but I mean, anybody. I don't know the younger actresses that well, but even somebody like we were talking about Zombies 4, Meg Donnelly, she'd be great. She would be great as as Catherine in Northanger Abbey. So, you could have Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim. Sure, why not? Anybody I think could do it, and it would be fun, and you could get some good atmosphere and some spooky kind of scenes and some good romance. I think it would be great. I really do. So that's what I would suggest if somebody asked me for advice. So the last film that I saw is Freaker Friday. And this is another nostalgia grab. It's pretty similar to Happy Gilmore 2 in that sense. That long-awaited sequel to a beloved movie. But this case, it actually went to theaters, which is so interesting because Disney now has had 3 films that were originally intended for Disney Plus that now have gone to theaters. Moana 2 and Lilo and Stitch, and now this Freaker Friday. And you think of like how much money they left on the table for Disenchanted and Hocus Pocus 2. Like neither of those movies were good, but still, like they just Hocus Pocus 2, just the opening weekend, I think would have done really well. And so they left all of that on the cutting room floor. But this, I think it'll actually do pretty well. And I think it's much better than both of those 2 movies that I just mentioned. Much better. It's funnier, it's sweeter. It works, I think, pretty well. I think there are points of critique in that having the 4 people switched, it can get a little confusing. And I wish that they had spent more time with the 4 together, because there you lose that sort of that dynamic. And most of the time it's Lindsay and Jamie Lee Curtis together, and then the 2 teens together, which is so funny because Julia Butters plays one of the teens who was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and American Housewife. So that was kind of a fun surprise to see her as a more grown-up character, a teenager character. And overall, this is enjoyable. I thought it was like funny and sweet, and I think that most people will go and have a good time with it, especially moms and daughters. I think will enjoy it. It's not perfect, but I think it's entertaining. It's entertaining. So there we go, Freaker Friday. All right, let's talk about the theater that I have been seeing. So I have been seeing more movies because of the movie show, and it's kind of by necessity because I've just had more I've had to see. And I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of continues into the fall, that I don't see as much theater as I was seeing, but I still see a lot. It's just it might be more like 1 or 2 a week, which is still a lot. But there's different seasons in life for everything, right? Okay, so I saw Footloose Junior. This was my cousin's daughter was in this Timpanogos Youth Theater. And it was interesting because I just seen Footloose twice the month before. And so it's interesting to see the junior adaptation. I think they did a pretty good job of shortening and making it kid appropriate, because there's some pretty deep themes in Footloose. It's one of those movies I was talking about the other day that the Footloose, I think, like Dirty Dancing and what was the other one that I was saying? Like Say Anything. Some of these movies from the 80s are sort of, they have more of a bubblegum reputation than I think they actually deserve. Like they're like, Footloose takes on some weighty themes and it tries to talk about things in a mature way. And so does Dirty Dancing. I mean, it has this kind of light, fluffy reputation, but if you really think about it, there's abortion, there's losing your virginity, there's coming of age, there's a lot of things happening within that movie. And so I think that Footloose is the same way. And you're dealing with themes of faith and loss and censorship and things like that. But they, I think, did a pretty good job of taking that and making it for teens, for the junior version, making it a lot shorter. And it was fun to get to see it with my cousin's daughter. She had an ensemble part. But the other thing that's nice about the Footloose adaptation, Broadway adaptation, is they got almost every song in that movie, which sometimes, like in Pretty Woman, the Pretty Woman musical, they don't have Pretty Woman, which is insane. Like you shouldn't even make, like that should have just been a deal breaker, right? You can't not have the Pretty Woman song in Pretty Woman, the musical. Insane. But this one, they actually got almost every song. So that's nice. Let's see here. Okay. I might eventually check out the original Freaky Friday, though I doubt I'll love it enough to watch a sequel. As for Hocus Pocus, I've never understood the first or second film's popularity. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you about Hocus Pocus. This is actually the fifth Freaky Friday movie, if you can believe it. So the original was from 1976. And then there was one in 1995, which is actually underrated and quite good. And then there's the 2003, and then there's a musical, which is also quite good. I'll talk about it in a second. 2018, which was a decom. And then there's this, which is the sequel to 2003. So that's kind of fun. And if you want to hear more about Freaky Friday, we did an episode of Hallmarkies podcast during the pandemic, my friend Marissa and I, where we ranked all four Freaky Friday movies, and then we're going to do an update next week where we rate all five. So with the new one, so you should check that out. It's fun. Okay. So thoroughly unfunny, forgettable movie. Yes, the actresses playing the witches are great and go for broke, but chocolate chips don't make a burnt, gritty cake yummy. Yeah, I mean, I think Hocus Pocus is like fine. Like if I was just looking for a kind of disposable, like mildly entertaining Halloween movie, it's fine. But the fact that it has been elevated as this like masterpiece of Disney Halloween movies when they have done so many better Halloween movies. I mean, I reviewed them for Disney Scares Month. Even the Halloween Town movies, I think, are much better than Frankenweenie. I think is way better. There's just so many that I think are better. Even the DComs, like I said, Halloween Town, Scream Team. There's so many that I think are better than Hocus Pocus. I don't understand why it's gotten this. Like you go to Disneyland and it is crazy. I mean, just everywhere is Hocus Pocus. Like it's shrieky. It's weird that they like virgin shame the boy. I don't understand that. It's not horrible, but I don't understand like the cult level love that people have for it. I never watched it growing up, so I guess that's part of it. I think it's very weird. And good acting by itself can't make poor films good. Yeah, no, agreed. I'm a story person. I that's the most important thing for me. That's why when people are always like with Marvel movies, they're like, oh, the color grading, the color looks weird. I could care less. Like if the story is getting to me, if the characters are getting to me, if I am engrossed, if I'm like, I could care less if the color is muted or, I mean, I don't know. I think those complaints are like so odd. It's just not how I think about movies. I can tell you that right now. Very weird. Okay. All right. So let's see here. I saw Footloose Jr. I saw Catch Me If You Can. This was at Centerpoint. I actually ended up seeing it twice, and I love this musical. This is a great production. The sets, the costumes, all of that was incredible. The choreography, they really got that Art Deco, feel for this show that you need. And I just think this is a very underrated musical. The songs are really fun. They're really catchy, and it's a friendship story, between Carl and Frank. And so if you get a good Frank and Carl, it can be really entertaining. These both casts I saw were great. I just think, like I said, this is very underrated Broadway musical in my opinion. Let's see here. I'm a story person too. That's why I have been upset about what I watched lately. I just haven't gotten hooked from the start and couldn't get pulled in. Yeah, that's how I felt more last year. I just felt like so many of the movies I saw, studio filmmaking last year was like, I would say 80-90% a letdown last year. This year, I'm much more positive. I just lucked out, I guess, but I enjoyed Superman. I enjoyed Fantastic Four. I enjoyed, oh gosh, what else? I don't know. I I've enjoyed a lot of what I've seen lately, as far as studio films. So, I feel fortunate that this has been a better year for movies than last year. So I feel like there's a big one I'm not thinking of for some reason. Oh, F1. That's it. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. So all three of those I really, really liked. And then To Love the Naked Gun, think that was great. So for me, it's been pretty positive, but I've been there. I've been where you are at, where just things are not working.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
Okay, but Catch Me If You Can. It's a really fun Broadway musical. If you ever get a chance to see it, it's the songs are great. It's got a lot of great spots for choreography. It's good. So, and this was a great production center point. All right. So then I went to Great Salt Lake Fringe. I saw 5 shows at Great Salt Lake Fringe. I saw My Brother Was a Vampire, which it's so annoying that playwrights, particularly playwrights, love giving their plays really convoluted titles, and they're trying to. I said it's like theatrical clickbait, but this My Brother Was a Vampire has almost nothing to do with vampires. It's not a horror. It's not a comedy. It's like a sibling drama kind of a thing, and it was pretty good from that level, I think, as a exploring sibling trauma. But it just sets you up for an expectation that then it's not going to deliver, which is frustrating. And I've noticed that a lot lately, particularly with plays. So accurately title your play, please. Okay, then I saw Brother Was a Vampire. Then I saw one called The Words at the Door, which was about a relationship that the man has schizophrenia. I saw my favorite of the festival was called Still Life. This was about 2 friends, and they're at one of those painting workshop things, and that was cute. I enjoyed that. A Haircut in Salt Lake City. This was a queer story, and about a boy and his coming out. And I thought it was leading one way, that it was going to end up being an unreliable narrator, but then they didn't really do that. But it was sweet. I enjoyed it. And then The Rest Is Silent, which was a fun concept. And it was actually written by my cousin. So that's sort of fun. And it's about these characters from Shakespeare that are in the afterlife, that are in a group support meeting. And so there's like Hamlet there, Lady Macbeth, Queen Elizabeth, and so that was, I think, a pretty funny concept. They switch and have whole new characters for the second act, and I don't think they needed to do that. I think we could have just stayed with the same characters, but it was fun. Romeo is in it, so that was a good idea, I thought. So thank you so much, Zachariah, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I really do. Okay, so then we have New Zootopia 2 trailer was great. Even that goat trailer, also Bad Guys 2, was awesome. Yeah. I loved that Zootopia trailer. I thought it was hilarious, that whole group therapy thing. Maybe that's just my thing, is group therapy. I just think it's really funny. I don't know. I thought that was really good. I liked it even better than the sloth trailer, which was so iconic, for Zootopia. I I just really, it gave me a whole new confidence in Zootopia 2 that I thought that was really funny. Okay, let's see here. Speaking of trailers, in case you haven't already discussed this, what did you think of Wicked for Good teaser? Also, any thoughts on K-pop Demon Hunters? Have you seen it yet? Yes, I have seen K-pop. I think I have a review of it. I had, if you can check, I didn't. It wasn't an out of theater reaction, but it was a post watch reaction on the channel to K-pop Demon Hunters. I loved it. I thought it was so fun, so much energy. I loved the animation. I loved the music. It kind of was just like all the things that I love. I love that style of animation. I love that kind of music. I mean, I don't know K-pop at all, but I loved the music in it. And it, you know, what's interesting is that I actually felt like this could be like if they had done to if they had a little more creativity, it had all of the elements, if you think about it, of 2016 Ghostbusters, but this is how it's done right. This is, I didn't hate that Ghostbusters as much as others, but you think about it, it's about a bunch of women who are kind of high energy and fun, who are fighting like demons, which is basically ghosts, you know. And so and their sort of shenanigans, and but it adds the layer of music to it. And so yeah, it's great. I absolutely love K-pop Demon Hunters. It's my favorite animated film still of this year. Are you big into Oscars awards season? Not really. I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, there's oftentimes a lot of good movies, but also a lot of times a lot of underwhelming movies, especially some years. I mean, I remember going through, and that's why Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was so impactful to me. I mean, I think it's a great film, but going through all of those screeners that year and just being underwhelmed. I wasn't as into everywhere all at once as I mean, I thought it was fine, but I didn't love it. And just so many of the Oscar movies that year were underwhelming to me or just okay. And so then I put on Puss in Boots: Last Wish. I think it's going to be like not good, and it was so good. It was such an incredible surprise to me that definitely kind of added, because it can be rough when you're watching those Oscar bait movies and you just get one after another that is underwhelming, you know, or just forgettable, not that great. But you know, sometimes there are some real, obviously they're the Oscar contenders, so they're going to be some pretty good ones. But like at last year, I saw Amelia Perez and in here the Robert Zemeckis movie on the same day. And so days like that can be rough, really rough. But I mean, I'm not as into like predicting and what's going to be happening. And I don't get into it as much as some people get into it. But, you know, there are some good movies that you see. And I'm very excited. I'm going to be going to Toronto International Film Festival this year. I've gotten accepted before, but I had lost my job. And so I couldn't go the year I was in. So this year I am going. And I'm really excited. It's going to be fun. And I have to go on this super cheap. So if any of you are considering becoming patrons, the perks for patrons are really good. We have a super fun patron watch along this month. Michelle Arglis, the actress, we're going to be watching her movie Record Breaking Christmas. And even if you don't love Hallmark movies, like it's interesting to find out how things are made and what the process is. And you get to do that at any level that gets to be part of these experiences. And then you have bonus episodes. Actually, we're actually gonna have Rachel's reviews bonus patron episode on Saturday, and so I try to make it really worth your while to be a patron. So definitely check that out. I think you'll really enjoy it, and I could sure use the support and the help. And so if you want to see cool things like going to TIFF and stuff, I would, like I said, so appreciate it. So anyway, I'm gonna get to see a lot of the Oscar contenders, I think, there. So that'll be cool to have like a heads up, you know, on it. Okay, let's keep going. So then I saw Annie. This was at Ogden Musical Theater, and it was absolutely wonderful, an incredible production. It was as good as the touring production. Very talented. The sets looked so good. The costumes were great. The little girl was so good. And all the kids, the Daddy Warbucks was wonderful. The choreography was great. It was absolutely outstanding. One of the best productions that I've seen this year. Really good. And you can still see it until the 9th. So you've just got 2 more days to go up to Ogden and see a great show. Really good. Let's see here. They can be slogs. I asked because this is the first year I'm trying to watch several films before the actual ceremony. I watch every year, but nowadays most films are indies festival plays, so I'm late at watching them. Yeah, that's fair. Usually they have the awards, at least the best picture movies that are there, so that you can watch those that before the ceremony. But it is a problem, a lot of these movies that people just don't connect with, and then the ones that they do connect with don't get nominated. But then again, they've also, like Top Gun Maverick, Avatar, they have been, I think, also trying to sort of nominate Black Panther. They've been trying to kind of nominate more populist picks as well as the artsy ones. Okay. Then, I forgot in my movie section to talk about, I went to the D23, a Goofy movie fan celebration. This was the 30th anniversary, and it was really fun. I didn't know if it was going to be worth it, but it was a very well done event. There was a host, and she had all different kinds of, you got a bag of different props and glow sticks and stuff. And people came up to the front of the theater, and everybody's dancing, and you were supposed to cheer out when, like, Pete said something, or when Powerline, or when he talked about Roxanne, everybody said, ooh. It was really fun. And it made me realize that I think that Disney should consider doing a Powerline show at the Hyperion at Disneyland. I think it would do so well, and people would love it. And I don't know, it just has such a following. I mean, my theater was completely packed. There were people in cosplay. Everybody was cheering. It was very fun. And I love that movie so much. So that was a blast. Okay. So then we have Shrek the Musical. I saw this at San Diego Arts Guild. I think that this is another underrated little musical, Broadway musical. I think the songs are good. I think it is really funny. And so if you ever get a chance to see it, it's Lord Farquaad especially is hilarious in it. They do a great job with it. And so, yeah, it's way better than I thought it was going to be. That's for sure. Okay, so then I saw Freaky Friday. And this is a Broadway musical that they then based the DCOM from 2018 on. And I don't think this one 100% nails what it's trying to do, but I think it gets really close. And I appreciate the swing. And I wish that Disney did more of these sort of original musicals versus taking their already existing musical films and turning them into Broadway musicals. I kind of like this idea. Let's go through their live action films and turn them into Broadway musicals. I would like that much better than most of their other Broadway musicals. I mean, there are some that are good, like Lion King and Beauty and the Beast, but not that much. Usually they're terrible. But this is interesting. There's a couple things that don't quite work for me. Parents Lie being the biggest one, because I feel like it's just too mean for that teenage character to do that to her little brother. It's not like he's an older brother. He's like a little brother. And so it's too much. But it is an interesting show, and it's a great one for community theater because it's mostly female characters, mostly girls. So let's see here. There's always lots of deserving possibilities. Plus, again, it's all subjective. There is no one agreed upon metric by which to judge a performance or film. So that's just my hot take. Yeah. Like, I don't really like Dune. Do I think it's a bad movie? No, it's just not for me. I think it's really boring and I don't like the story. So, and other people, it's a masterpiece and I understand why. So we all have our tastes and bias, and all we can do is be honest with those around us. Okay. I loved hearing all that you saw. That's good variety, Rachel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, a couple. I think that's okay. So then I saw the last one is I saw Daddy Long Legs tonight, actually, and I love Daddy Long Legs. This is at Center Point. This is in their second stage. I absolutely love this show. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's just two people, but it's their love story, and it folds out over letters, and it's just so well written. The songs are so good. And I have over on Onstage Blog, I have an interview with the composer Paul Gordon talking about his whole process and everything. So that was really cool. And I just absolutely love this show. These two were so good. They had such good chemistry together. They built their characters so well. And so if you ever get a chance to see Daddy Longlegs, I highly recommend it. It is great. If you don't get a chance to see it, if you have Broadway HD, there is a pro shot of Daddy Longlegs. And so that's neat to see. And I just love that show. It's one of my favorites. So there we go. That is all that I saw on stage and screen since my last live stream. So thank you to those who are watching. I really appreciate it. And for your support and all the support over for me being on KSL Movie Show. I really appreciate that so much. Like I said, I've been trying some new things with the audio reviews, and I appreciate that support. And of course, I've got podcasts and other things coming out that I hope you'll enjoy. And it's just a busy, exciting time for me. And I'm grateful for every opportunity. And I'm excited to be going to the Shakespeare Festival this weekend. My friend Jax, she's going to be there. And so we're spending a little weekend together. It's going to be so fun. So all that's coming up. You're going to make sure you're following me on the social media. I do out of theater reactions to every single play and movie that I see. So if you want to make sure that you're following me over on social media, and then I do post a lot of them, all the movies and some of the plays on my YouTube as well. So definitely make sure you're following me there. Make sure you're following the Hallmarkies podcast. Lots of good stuff going on there as well. We did an episode on Back to the Future at Hallmarkies podcast today with Ryan Cam. So if you were a fan of my podcast with Ryan, Hidden Gems, check out Hallmarkies podcast today, because there's a whole episode with the two of us talking about Back to the Future. So that's a bonus episode. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, lots of fun stuff going on. And so good night, Rachel. I'm off to dear old bed. I hope you are as well, insomnia permitting. Thank you for the reviews. Cheers. Yes, thank you so much. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.